Hello everyone, and welcome to this introductory presentation for training providers about the Canada-Alberta Productivity Grant, or the CAPG. Here's the agenda for the presentation. First, we will go over a brief introduction to the program. Second, we'll review the eligibility criteria for training providers. Third, we'll look at the eligibility requirements for training courses, including the CAPG's productivity requirements. We'll also look at training costs. And last, we will outline the training provider-based documentation that employer applicants are required to provide to the CAPG during the grant process. If you have questions following the presentation, please direct them to the Canada-Alberta Productivity Grant Office, and an advisor will respond to you within a few business days. Before we start, please note this presentation provides an overview of the Canada-Alberta Productivity Grant Program. For complete information regarding the program, please consult our website and access the Canada-Alberta Productivity Grant Applicant Guidelines. The Government of Alberta is pleased to introduce the Canada-Alberta Productivity Grant, or CAPG. The Province of Alberta is working in partnership with the Government of Canada to provide funding for this program. This new program will replace previous employer-led training grants. The information presented today will focus specifically on the details of the CAPG that are relevant to training providers. Employers will always need a workforce that is well educated, highly skilled, efficient, and productive. The CAPG is an employer-driven program which has been designed to help employers develop workers who suit their business needs and to provide Albertans with the jobs they need to succeed. In the CAPG, it is employers who determine what training is necessary to meet their business goals and objectives and who is best suited to receive the training. The employer-driven nature of this program ensures that selected training provides the skills that employers are looking for and that it meets their needs. It's a tool that addresses mismatches between jobs and skills in Alberta's economy. The CAPG is intended to encourage employer investment in training by co-sharing costs, upskill employees to be better equipped to improve their organization's productivity, and hire and train unemployed Albertans. Employers can use the CAPG to help their organizations increase efficiency and stimulate innovation while equipping Albertans with the skills needed to meet the demands of a rapidly evolving economy. CAPG helps employers enhance their productivity and competitiveness by supporting training that will enable their workers to develop value-added and specialized skills. In this section, we'll review training provider eligibility. In the CAPG, eligible training providers must meet the following requirements. They must be a third party that is separate and distinct from the employer. Training must be one of their main business activities. They must be in business and have been providing training for at least 2 years at the time of application. And lastly, training providers must be qualified. CAPG defines qualified instructors as individuals who have relevant educational credentials and experience directly related to the type of training within 4 of the preceding 10 years. Ineligible training providers in the CAPG program include employer applicants providing in-house training, relatives or employees of the employer applicants, product vendors who provide training on how to use their own products or services, and training providers and franchisors exclusive to one employer. We will now review training course eligibility, and we will also look at training costs. Training courses listed on an application must meet the following criteria. Primarily, they must be focused on productivity skills development in one of 3 categories. They must also be relevant to the operational needs of the business and the trainee's job. They must be completed within 52 weeks from the application receive date. They must take place in Alberta. And training must be instructional, feature-directed programming and learning activities, and have an instructor. As mentioned on the previous slide, training must fall into one of the following productivity-based skills categories: business process and operations management, technical, and digital and technological. So what is business process and operations management? It's training which equips employees with the skills to improve and optimize processes, operations, systems, and resource management. On the next slide, we will look at some examples. Business planning and operations focuses on developing, analyzing, implementing, and managing organizational strategies and operational processes to achieve business goals efficiently. Some examples of training under this category are business analysis, standard operating procedures, process design and optimization, and operations management. Next is corporate finance and accounting, which focuses on managing, analyzing, and reporting an organization's financial resources and performance. Examples of this training include financial analysis, reporting, and risk. Project and program management focuses on organizing, coordinating, and delivering products and programs to achieve organizational goals. Quality assurance management focuses on ensuring products, services, and processes meet or exceed quality standards and customer expectations. This includes advanced product quality planning, quality assurance, and quality management systems. Finally, supply chain and resource management training pertains to coordinating, managing, and optimizing the flow of goods, services, resources, and information within and across organizations. Examples include inventory, logistics, and supply chain management. The second skills category, technical, is defined as follows. Training which equips employees with the technical expertise and specialized skills to enhance efficiency, quality, and problem-solving capabilities. In the next slide, we will review some examples of technical training. First, tool usage is training on how to apply the appropriate techniques, tools, and software. Some examples are industrial modeling and geospatial skills, such as computer-aided design and AutoCAD. Equipment setup and maintenance training is for the installation and regular maintenance of machinery and equipment. Examples include heavy equipment frames and their suspension systems training. Design and monitoring, which is training for real-time process control, focuses on monitoring system performance and adjusting to improve efficiency. Finally, automation and robotics trains employees on setting up, programming, and maintaining automated systems and robotic equipment for efficient manufacturing and production processes. The third skills category, digital and technological, is defined as training which equips employees with skills to effectively use, manage, and integrate digital tools and technologies to perform tasks, solve problems, and adapt to evolving technology needs. The next slide will review various digital and technological training examples. Software development focuses on computer science activities to create, design, deploy, and support software or products. Examples of this type of training include coding and programming skills for software development. Next, data analytics is training on tools used to gather, process, and analyze data to support decision-making, such as applying statistical analysis techniques using software. Digital tools and technologies training is used to help employees build practical skills to effectively use digital tools and technologies that enhance their organization's overall digital engagement. An example of this type of training is search engine optimization. Cybersecurity and system infrastructure is training used to protect, manage, and maintain the security and reliability of digital systems, networks, data, and infrastructure. Security assessment and vulnerability management are examples under this category. Finally, emerging technologies is training to use new and rapidly growing technologies such as artificial intelligence and machine learning. We will now look at what training is ineligible for CAPG funding. Training that develops basic, soft, and interpersonal skills is ineligible as it does not meet the productivity skills requirements. An example of basic skills development is administrative training that involves routine operational tasks. Soft and interpersonal skills pertain to things like general communication, relationship building, personal effectiveness, and guiding others. Examples of this type of training include leadership development and customer service training. Additionally, sales and marketing training that is focused on general communication or introductory concepts and basic principles is ineligible. Other types of ineligible training include occupational health and safety training and basic safety courses, training that is intended to complete post-secondary diploma or degree programs, consulting, coaching, and mentoring, practicums and project-based research, conferences, self-study for exams, and Class 1 Learning Pathway, formerly known as MELT, for which funding is now available from the Ministry of Transportation and Economic Corridors. For additional information on ineligible courses, please refer to the applicant guidelines. We'll now switch our focus to the costs that can be considered in the CAPG program. Only costs directly related to training are eligible for reimbursement, and these are limited to tuition fees, textbooks, software, and other required materials directly related to the training course, examination fees, and approved travel costs as outlined in the applicant guidelines. The following costs are not eligible for reimbursement. Mandatory student fees, for example, UPass, building levy fees, library fees, membership or subscription fees, professional association fees, annual fees, facility rental fees, costs associated with physical or digital assets, for example, software or hardware that are retained after training is complete, and non-instructional training costs. For a complete list of ineligible costs, please refer to the applicant guidelines. Now, let's review the CAPG program structure and what training provider-based documentation employer applicants are required to provide to the CAPG during the grant process. The CAPG program is structured in a two-stage process. At both stages, employer applicants are required to provide the CAPG with supporting documentation they've obtained from their training providers. In Stage 1, employer applicants submit an application form to the CAPG along with supporting documents. In Stage 2, once training is ended, employer applicants submit a training completion form along with additional supporting documentation to the CAPG. If employer applicants do not receive all required documentation from the training providers, processing delays may occur or their applications may be rejected or declined. By providing the most detailed documentation to employer applicants in a timely manner, training providers can increase the likelihood that CAPG application forms and training completion forms will be assessed without delay. Now, we will go over what documentation is required. In Stage 1, documentation containing course information from the training provider must be submitted with the employer's application. We do not accept links to the training provider's website. Acceptable documentation includes course outlines or quotes. It must include the following details about the course: a description of the course, the training course's start date and end date, the total cost per person, including an itemized breakdown of tuition, materials, and exams, the instruction delivery method, and the name of the instructor, the instructor's qualifications, and the number of participants if applicable. Please note, the travel costs cannot be included in a course quote. Again, the more detailed information you can provide to the employer applicant, the greater the chance the application will be assessed without processing delays. You should also note the employer will be required to enter which productivity skill category the training falls under. As well as meeting productivity eligibility, the training must also align with the employer's industry and the trainee's job description. As each application is assessed separately with consideration to multiple eligibility requirements, please note that even if a course is approved on one application, it does not mean that it will be approved on all future applications. For Stage 2, the completion stage, the CAPG asks employers for documentation that validates the training and its costs. Employers cannot receive a reimbursement payment without providing these two documents. The first document is a receipt or paid invoice from the training provider that outlines the cost of training, the payment date, the method of payment, and the training provider's company name. This documentation is also required for textbooks, materials, and other eligible costs. Handwritten receipts and unpaid invoices are not accepted. The second required document must confirm the trainee has either registered in or completed the course. Examples of documents that may satisfy this requirement include a transcript, a certificate of completion, an enrollment confirmation, or a paid invoice that shows these details. Please note that this documentation is required for every course taken by each trainee listed on the application form. This brings the presentation to an end. If you require more information about the program, please visit our website or contact us by email or telephone. Thank you for your time and your interest in the Canada-Alberta Productivity Grant.